burning down pretty good now. Just wasted all this time and effort. Let's give this another shot. Hello, welcome back to another episode from Pale Horse Survival and Tactical. I'm Bill, glad you could join me. Today we're going to look at a primitive alternative for a sewing needle. Stay tuned. Okay, welcome back. Nature provides many viable alternatives for us. We just have to know how to recognize them and utilize them. And in a primitive situation, the ability to sew, whether you're using fibers, say from yucca or sinew, there's many uses for that in a long-term survival situation. So one viable alternative for a sewing needle, you could try and make one. You can make them out of bone, wood. Wood's a lot harder because usually it'll fall apart unless you're making a large needle. But say you need a small fine needle for more detailed type work. A very viable alternative, and it's a ready-made needle. You don't even really have to. You don't have to construct it. You just have to do a little bit of harvest it and then a slight modification are thorns. And depending on where you are located geographically, there's almost always something, whether it's shrubs or trees. The honey locust is one that comes to mind. But shrubs will oftentimes yield a very small needle. Well, a thorn, which can be easily crafted into a usable needle. And what I have here in front of me are shrubs that are full of thorns. It's already pre-made, and just have to harvest one and do some very slight modifications to it to make it usable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the camera on a tripod. We'll go ahead and harvest and take you back over to the work surface here and show you how to easily modify this. Only takes literally a few minutes and you have yourself a viable sewing needle. And there is literally tons and tons of sewing needles here in front of me. And these can also be used as fish hooks. Stay tuned. Okay, I'm actually going to be shooting a few more videos up here that's going to involve rawhide and some yucca fiber stitching. So I'm actually harvesting these for videos that I'm going to be shooting here in a little bit. So I wanted to take the opportunity to share the idea and technique of using thorns as viable sewing needles. So There's different size needles here, and I'm going to be working with pretty small holes, so obviously I don't need a large needle. The smaller the better, actually, because I want to keep the holes fairly small. So I'm seeing this one looks perfect, actually. So what we'll do here is, I'm going to go ahead and, since I can't take a single needle off of here because I need the top part of the branch, and I'll show you why. So just take it in, and this is really, these are really tough. Make really good needles. So with that said, I'll meet you back over at the work surface over here. Stay tuned. All right, back over here at the round, the work surface. I already made a needle. I harvested one earlier, and there we go, trying to get my screen adjusted here so I can see what I'm doing. This is one that I already harvested just a little while ago. And I have a piece of a strand of yucca fiber, just a simple overhand. I find that working with fibers in general, it's better to wet them, just dampen it down. So I just take my my canteen cup over here. So I just wet my fingers and run it over the fiber, and it makes it a lot easier to work with. So I just attach this to the top of the needle here with a simple overhand knot, and it's holding very well. I couldn't pull that off there if I tried. The thorn is really super tough. And you can see I left a little ridge. There's no eye on that. Whoops, sorry guys. There's no eye on that. It'd be way too difficult and time consuming to attempt to put an eye in there. It's just way too small. And this would be for your very fine work. So what I did was, I'll show you how to cut that to where we leave a little edge, a little ridge at the top. Simple overhand knot on your fiber, and it's held securely. Makes a very good sewing needle. So this is the thorn here. This one here that we're going to harvest. These make great little gorge hooks. Basically all you got to do is harvest one, cut it to length, and lightly notch the center, and then attach your cordage, and you're good to go. So one side of this, we're going to cut this piece on this side, we're going to cut flush. Just like that. The other side, we're going to leave a little edge, and that is the provides the lip that we need to hold the cordage. Just like that. You just leave that little lip on there. And now to clean it up, I'm just going to go and lightly scrape the cambium layer off. just to smooth things out so it passes through the material that we're going to be stitching. It will pass through much easier. Just go through it. Whoops. Go through and just clean it up. Actually, I'm going to reduce that lip down just a little bit so I don't have too much sticking out. So this is what we have. We'll take a strand of yucca, dampen it down, place a single overhand knot in here, cinch it down till your loop's kind of small, stick your needle in there and cinch it up just below that, just below the notch on the top of it, the head of it. Tighten it down, and we have ourselves a sewing needle, and that's not coming off there. I can actually pull on that pretty hard. The nice thing about yucca, I call yucca botanical sinew, because when it's wet, it gets slightly tacky, like sinew does with collagen content, so it tends to kind of stick to itself. So when you make a knot with it, it tends to hold pretty good. So we have a couple of sewing needles here, and that is all there is to using utilizing a thorn as a sewing needle. So the next video I'm going to start on a project here in a little bit, so you'll get a chance to see these in action. Stay tuned. I hope all of you enjoyed the video as much as I did making it today. Please like, subscribe, and share. I hope all of you are having an outstanding day or night, depending on where you're located, and I will see all of you very soon on the next one. Everybody take care. Bye-bye.